Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking Politics on the Hindu's YouTube channel. Now, this is a show where we unpack the story behind all the news that is making the headlines in domestic politics, along with me, Nistula Hebbar, the political editor of The Hindu. Now, in this episode, we are already in the midst of the general elections. At the time of recording, polling for the first phase of the Lok Sabha polls for 102 seats across many states was already underway. And usually episodes of Talking Politics are about events, issues, discrete sort of units, basically, which have reached some level of stasis, but not this week's. This week, we shall examine, in a kind of a diffuse sort of way, the entry of hordes of outsiders into the BJP across the last 10 years and certainly ahead of the 2024 Lok Sabha polls. And BJP, being a cadre-based party, we ask the all-important question of whether the BJP is becoming the new Congress. Welcome back. I know I left that question of whether the BJP is becoming the new Congress as a kind of teaser, kind of hanging in the balance, because the BJP is a cadre-based party and the Congress, a large umbrella one, or was a large umbrella one before all of this exodus happened. So BJP welcoming everyone into its fold despite the very different natures of the two parties. And we are still asking this question: what does it all mean? Well, to examine this question, let's start with some numbers. Always a pretty safe place to start. Now, according to some estimates, almost 28 to 30% of the 400 odd seats, around 430 seats announced by the BJP for the Lok Sabha polls of 2024 is made up of outsiders. Now, these are people who had joined the BJP just before the 2014 polls up to now. That's a 10-year kind of a course. And there is a region-wise difference in the proportion of outsiders who join, with states like Andhra Pradesh seeing 5 out of 6 candidates fielded by the party who are outsiders, while in UP the number is 13 out of the 70 odd candidates announced by the BJP for Uttar Pradesh. Now, that number is again high for Haryana, with 6 out of 10 candidates announced by the BJP for the state coming from outside the BJP. In Tamil Nadu, Telangana and Odisha, 31 candidates are outsiders, mostly from other regional parties. Many observers say that this exodus of political actors and talent from other political parties into the BJP is very much like what used to happen with the Congress when it was the dominant pole of Indian politics. And it is natural that this should happen as the BJP is now the dominant force. And there is plenty of merit in that argument. It explains at least some of that exodus. The second aspect of the entry of people into BJP is the party's expanding footprint in states where it was not a player earlier, namely the southern states, Northeast India, and even states like Haryana, where earlier it had not had such a strong presence, and it has kind of in a kind of a combination of its own authentic cadre plus outsiders from other communities, basically just getting other communities on board with your party, gained power in Haryana. So here, rather than organically develop leadership via the cadre of the RSS and the BJP has found it useful to appropriate political talent from outside. So you don't wait, like in the northeastern states, entire units, legislature parties of, say, the Congress or other regional outfits have moved and said, okay, now we are the BJP. So all of that has happened and BJP has gained a foothold in those states. How strong that foothold is, of course, one will need to see, but as of now, that is what has happened there. Therefore, why outsiders should enter the BJP and the party's own welcome mat for them is understandable. The ascent of Prime Minister Narendra Modi into the fray has given an unprecedented fillip to the BJP and the party's expansion. The ambition of it and what the BJP is ready to do is clear. What is not clear is what are the implications of this exodus into the BJP from outside for the party itself. If there is a move to expand the tent of the BJP, would not the nature of that tent and those who people it also change? That is the fundamental question. Unlike the Congress, which is a more loosely held party and whose ideological clarity has now been reduced to an exercise in polemics rather than clear attributes, the BJP is a cadre-based party with a clearly articulated ideological stance, which has been successful in expanding and taking in communities and social groups previously unaligned with it into its fold. Its ideological mothership, the Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh, has been, unlike under the Vajpayee government, harmoniously working with the Modi-led BJP. It also provides the ideological and organizational bulwark for the party. Then what is the catch? In a cadre-based party like the BJP, there has been some unease with regard to outsiders who enter the fray and get positions, election tickets and Rajya Sabha berths quickly. Some long-time cadre do feel that their share of the pie is getting reduced when there are more takers, and therefore the resentment grows. There is, however, a variation in the proportion of these resentments and of outsiders being taken in states like Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, etc., where the BJP has a long-term presence and strength. There is more of an unspoken resentment than in the eastern and northeastern states, where the BJP is not much of a presence, and it actually depends on the support base of these outsiders to clock electoral victory. Now, exceptions on the question of ideological mixing are there, of course. For example, in Kerala, former BJP chief C.K. Padmanabhan was very vocal in his opposition to Padmaja Karunakaran, daughter of late Congress leader K. Karunakaran, joining the BJP. At a function in Kasargod, he had said as much, and all of this was widely reported. However, the overwhelming electoral dominance established by the national leadership of the BJP and the opportunities that it has given the Sangh Parivar for ideological expansion through institutions also means that much of this resentment is not articulated in this way. The Modi government has seen the abolition of Article 370, which accords special status to Jammu and Kashmir, and it is under the Modi government's rule that the Ram Temple in Ayodhya was finally being constructed and consecrated. These were ideologically very crucial issues for the larger Sangh Parivar headed by the Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh. Therefore, the electoral victories of the BJP, unlike the Congress, have been aimed very clearly at achieving ideological aims. It was not so clear in the case of the Congress, especially during the later part of the time that they occupied power. Therefore, even if outsiders have come in, ideologically they have neither brought any changes nor organizationally have they changed the larger structure of the BJP. The way the BJP used to run earlier, it's the way it's being run now. People have been asked to just adjust to that situation. And that machinery of the BJP is still being run the way it used to be. In the case of the Congress, this had not been so. The party had, despite electoral victories, diluted the dissemination of ideology via its own party, cadre, over the years. And the cadre too had weakened as the central control was not matched with the building of a core of party workers and machinery. There was too much concentration of just being an electoral machine rather than a cohesive political party with ideological force as well. Leadership was still a negotiation between the national leadership and the rest of the Congress leadership. That is not the case with the BJP. There is an intense amount of internal discipline at the moment within the BJP. This is, of course, not the case between 2004 and 12, but that is certainly the case now. Now, in my view, the electoral success of the BJP has been a lid of sorts on any kind of resentment being expressed, and the scope of patronage flowing from the party has been wide enough to incorporate many of those who may feel left out. The challenge for the BJP is to ensure that its ideological core and party workers are not fundamentally affected by the change in the legislature party or the party structures in various states. That entirely depends on the continuation of electoral dominance. Now, this balance has to be maintained. Therefore, political parties are dynamic and are constantly negotiating the space between electoral politics, ideological stance, statecraft and governance, and pragmatic tactics. On that score, the BJP has been able to maintain its balance. The 2024 polls will be interesting in watching whether that balance stands. That is all I have for you this week. I shall see you next week. Goodbye and thanks for watching.